Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Grammar Teaching Series. Today we're going to be looking at how to teach would like, and as before I've set up a Jamboard to give you an idea of what I would do in a physical classroom as well as within an online environment. If you do find today's lesson or lesson idea useful, then please don't forget to hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Hit the notification bell, you'll be notified when I upload a new video, usually on Wednesdays around 1 PM. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. So, as you can see, today we're only going to go through a couple of slides, but hopefully this gives you some indication of how I would teach would like. So the first slide that I'd like to draw your attention to is really getting students to look at how they would respond in certain situations. Really the pragmatics of any sort of language, I guess. So for example here I give students the opportunity to brainstorm together in pairs about what they would do in certain situations, and I give them an example such as, oh, I'm thirsty, and then a possible response could be, would you like a drink? So hopefully the sort of situation, the example here gives students some indication of what's expected with would you like. As you can see on this slide, there's a variety of different scenarios. It's cold, I'm lost, it's getting dark, etc. You could get students to think of any potential response. Any response is valid, and there's no particular correct answer. But what I would do is I would give students maybe 5 to 10 minutes to work together in pairs, and then bring all the students back together as a whole class, whether it's face-to-face or online, to give me their idea about what their response would be. And then I would board up their response and, correct them where sees fit, I suppose. The next step, once you've scaffolded language, corrected them and boarded up their own responses, is to move on to the next step. One thing that's quite confusing for some students is the differentiation between would you like and do you like. So this is where we're going to be looking at in the next slide. In this stage of the lesson, I'm trying to get students to see the difference between would you like and do you like. So would you like plus a verb, for example, the infinitive, or a noun, or do you like plus a general noun? Now here I've got a variety of examples that I would actually dictate to students and get students to fill in where they think is the correct heading. So would you like, or do you like, and I would say a cup of tea, and then I would get the students to write down what they think goes in the correct column. A cup of tea being would you like a cup of tea, and then the next one would be tea, and that would be do you like tea. Then once students have placed the correct formulations and connected the beginnings to the ends, I suppose, these prompts, you get them to interview each other. That would be the next step. You could get students to, and I give an example at the bottom of this slide, do you like flying? Flying being the general noun. And so the response could be yes. And then another question would you like to fly? And the response could be, oh, no thanks, I don't know how to fly. So you could get students to interview each other based on the language that's there, and also noticing the difference between the difference of would you and do you. And then once this is finished, you could get all the students back together as a whole class and get them to formulate their own ideas and share opinions, views, or any interesting or surprising facts that they came across whilst they were interviewing each other. So this is how I would introduce would you like, do you like, and that sort of language there. But would you, you see what I did there? Would you do something similar, or would you perhaps do something slightly different with regards to this grammar point. It'll be really interesting to know whether you are in the same box of me, trying to get students to notice the language, or trying to get students to, explicitly see the language, from a teacher's perspective, because there are two angles when you're teaching grammar. You could go for the explicit approach, where students are told how things are, or you could be slightly more implicit, where students start to notice how grammar is formulated and they reform or formulate the rules within what they perceive is adequate. Anyway, that's a whole different ball game and something not really suitable for today's video, but as ever, thank you ever so much for listening to me, and I hope you got some ideas on how I would teach and inspires you on how you could teach in your next lesson if you're going to be looking at this grammar point. If you do have a question about how to teach a particular grammar point, please let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear your ideas or suggestions for a future video. As ever, stay safe and stay cool, and happy teaching. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.